Hi and welcome back to the Knit Guru. This week we're looking at Pokemon. Today what we're going to be doing is crocheting and knitting some Pokemon. I'll link the crochet and knitting patterns that I have for Pokemon that I've designed down below. And today what we're going to do is have a go at crocheting and knitting some people's other Pokemon. There's my own live Pokemon, my Begosaurus. Here's the Ivysaur I made from Crochet by Kitten Girl earlier. I'll link the video for this one down below as well, if the process of me making this, not Crochet by Kitten Girl making hers. If it's up, I can't remember which order anything's going up in. But without further ado, let's knit and crochet some Pokemon and see what we can get up to. The first one we're going to do is this Pikachu from Tasha's Crochet, which has been in my to-do list for a long time, and we've got some plush yarn here. This is just a discount one from Temu, and we'll see how we go. Good morning, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. The 27th of February is Pokemon Day. I am a Pokemon fan. So what am I going to do this week? I'm going to celebrate Pokemon the only way that a knitter and crocheter can, by sharing my Pokemon knitting and crochet faves. We're going to start today with Pokemon patterns that are from someone else that are free, available online. And then I'm going to share a Pokemon pattern with you that I've developed especially for release in this week. And there'll be a list down below of every Pokemon-inspired pattern that I've made over the years. So we're going to start with this one here. This is my Ivysaur. My Ivysaur is my pride and joy. I am very proud of it. Him, I don't know, haven't named him. This pattern here is from Crochet by Kitten Girl. Her name's Jay, I think. And she's got a free written pattern on her website. She's currently crocheting all 151 of the original Pokemon. I say currently, I think at the moment she's working on, well, Charmander's finished. She's working on Charmeleon, but the Charmander pattern hasn't been released yet. What I'd like to do during, which month did I decide? May, I think. In May, my plan was to do her Charmander. But we'll see whether or not the pattern's released by then to do her Charmander during May. We'll see how we go. So this is my Ivysaur. This is my first pattern. This is a big one. This one I made with Hobie Honey Bunny yarn and entered it in the AMP show where they took out third place in the toy category. Either way, I really wanted to make Ivysaur rather than Bulbasaur because Bulbasaur was my first Pokemon when I got Pokemon Blue back in the day. However, this one's got pink. That's why I chose Ivysaur over Bulbasaur, because we know how I feel about green. I'm not very good with green. What else have I got? I've got two patterns here that I made from Tasha's Crochet Corner, I think it is. And these patterns are both available on Ribbler, and I will show you. I'll put the link down below. I think she also has a Charmander, but I started making a Charmander from someone else, but then I ran out of yarn. Life struggle. Oh, wind. Anyway, this is her Squirtle. The Squirtle, I really like the face. I really like the tail, but I'm not so sure about the shell. I think the shell pattern could be slightly different. And her Pikachu. Now, her patterns are well written, but there's not a lot of pictures to go along with them. I think there's just the one picture of each one. I did go off book with the tail because I got bored following her instructions. And we know how I am about following instructions. However, both are really cute. These are made with a really thin plush or velvet yarn. I think it's a velvet yarn, a really, really thin one, and a 3.5 millimeter hook. So they come out quite small. But if you were going to be using either Zach's, a really good chenille yarn, or if you were going to be using the Hobie Honey Bunny, and a 6 millimeter needle, you're going to have these much, much bigger. But I made them small because I had small velvet yarn. So that's Tasha's Crochet Corner, I think. Then I found this pattern here, which is Snorlax by Loopy Catherine. Now, Loopy Catherine, linked down below, did something very clever in her patterns online. She's got a whole stack of free patterns. Every so often throughout the pattern, it says, if you got this pattern from somewhere other than her free website, other than for free on her website, contact her because it's been stolen. So that I thought was really clever, so that if anyone is going through and copying and just trying to resell her patterns, because I've had that before. I've had people copy my free patterns and try to sell them as their own on Etsy. And it's a real pain to try and get the pattern taken down, and I still have no idea how many times my patterns have been sold to somebody else. Once that I just give away for free, so it just seems ridiculous. However, this is the Snorlax from Loopy Catherine. This one used 1.5 balls of my tiny chenille yarn, of the blue, that is. There's a lot more stitches in him than you would imagine. He would come up really big if you made him in like either Zach's yarn or in Honey Bunny. Then the next two Pokemon patterns I've got for you are not crochet patterns. No! And these have not been released before this week. I cannot remember which order I am releasing these in. We have my Bellsprout. And, just adjusting your eyebrows there, Pidgey, because the wind is not working in your favour. We've got my Pidgey, and we've got my Bellsprout. Now, the end of this video is either going to be Pidgey or Bellsprout. I can't remember because I didn't bring my notes, and Razor is making noise because of course he is. They're both going to be free patterns, and they're both going to be released this week. So, without further ado, one of these patterns, well, actually, I do know exactly which one of these patterns is going to be connected to this video, I think, but I don't know if this video is coming out before or after the other one, because I've got another one planned, but it's not filmed yet, because I'm waiting for something to come in. Either way, we've got Bellsprout and we've got Pidgey, and both of these patterns are being released this week, so hang on for about 30 seconds and you'll see which one of these patterns has a tutorial in this video, and the written pattern is going to be listed down below. It should be on my website, and it should also be on my Ribbler if you want to make either of them. Both are quite easy. However, this one has an internal skeleton, and this one is just a stuffed boy. Neither of them use a lot of yarn. This one's probably easier. Or is this one easier? Look at them both. Have a go at them both. Neither of them are particularly challenging. Maybe this one might be easier to get coming up exactly like this. This one, because of its internal skeleton, may be more challenging. Either way, enjoy the pattern tutorial, and I will see you next week. Bye. Right, so this is the Pidgey that we're going to make. It's a pretty easy make. We're just going to need some double knit yarn in 4 different colours, mostly just the 3 you can see here, and some 3.5mm needles. There's a full written knitting pattern down below, and this video is just meant to help you follow the written instructions. We're casting on 10 stitches. Now my first tip is to take your brown yarn and split it into 2 little balls, because the yellow belly in the middle is going to be, well, in the middle. We're increasing on either side here for the tail. Then as we go further up the belly, we're going to get to the neck. We're going to decrease there. We'll start to see its little belly get round. And then we're going further up the head. When we get to the very top, there's some decreases. It's not too bad. Then you fold it in half. And when you fold it in half, you'll see the body shape. Now the wing is a little bit confusing because we're going to create this little half moon shape and then we're casting on some stitches at that point. Then we're just going to continue until we change colour to yellow. The whole thing then finishes in yellow. It decreases much like the heart patterns if you've made any of my heart patterns. So we make 2 of these wings. Once we've got these 2 wings here, you can make your tail, which is just a 2x2 piece of rib really that decreases down a little bit further into the tail shape. And that looks kind of cute, just like it is. Then there's the feet and the beak, which look really similar when you see them down because there's only a handful of stitches on each one. Then we're stuffing it after seaming up the back. You'll see his little potato body. From that point, we're adding on the beak. You just stitch that in the middle of the yellow section on his face. You can stitch on a couple of little eyes like these. I was going to put some safety eyes, but I forgot. And then we're putting his little footsies on the bottom. The last thing I attach are the wings because that gives you the option of making sure you know exactly what you're doing and how they're lining up. And then we have it. There's our little Pidgey having a good time, being a good boy. Again, the full instructions are linked down below, as well as there's an interactive pattern down there on Ribbler linked through my website. Enjoy. See you Friday.